Evelyn to Philip, June 21st, 1944. Dearest one, before I get on with my letter, I do want to say that I finally managed to get that package off to you by having my dad mail it during his lunch hour. I also managed to get a letter off to Mike Nierenberg and asked him whether I should go out to their place or whether he would prefer to come here. Today I hit a sort of jackpot. This morning I received your V-mail of May 26th and letters of June 7th and 8th. This afternoon your letter of the 9th came through, along with a letter written the same day by Eddie. No comment of yours of the 26th. Yours of the 7th, which contained word of the snapshots, does require some comment. I beg to differ with you about my posture in that snap with the Britisher. It's the angle and not my posture. I felt ill when it was taken and naturally wouldn't look as well as normally. Which reminds me, I got unwell today, 6 days late. Boy, I'd be scared stiff if you were home. One-piece shorts and skirt are just what the words imply. The top garment is a blouse, and instead of having a dress bottom, it is shorts. A skirt fits over it that it might be worn in the street. Thanks again, baby, for sending off the money for a dress and shoes. I can assure you, as yesterday, that it will be spent as you suggest. I guess you were wrong about Seymour. He definitely does not like the Navy, but then he hasn't, page 2, been in long enough to know for sure. I think I've explained about my wanting to work sufficiently to disregard any questions you posed in your letter of the 9th. I would think it was a measly $13 a week if it weren't for the fact that it is to be savings and nothing else. That kind of saving will get us someplace someday, even though it is a drawn-out process. Don't worry, honey. You can have full command when you get back. I'll be tickled to turn the burden over to you. When I said Adele didn't want to stop jumping rope, that's exactly what I meant. Whenever she likes something, you don't know how hard it is to get her away from it. She pounds the floor with one foot to imitate jumping rope. I forgot to tell you that Mom bought herself a lovely gray and white polka dot two-piece dressy dress for $10 from a lady in the neighborhood who sells dresses. It's very good looking and something different for her. She also bought a greenish-colored pinafore that is quite attractive. Mrs. Feldman got one and Mom liked it, so Betty got Mom one too. The weather continues cool, pleasantly so, and I like it very much. That's unusual for the first day of spring. Oops, I meant summer. I bought Adele a walking dog toy today. I paid 90 cents wholesale. I hear it sells for more than double. And after 10 minutes of play with it, Adele broke it. I pasted the foot since it is made of some sort of plastic. She was crazy about the dog and made quite a fuss about it. She's in need of more toys to keep her occupied, things to put together and take apart, and it's hell to find something worthwhile these days. When I stop working Saturdays, I'm going on a few long shopping tours to get all the little things I want for her and myself, and that's when I'll get the dress and shoes. Page 3. I called Dot and Snuff this evening and learned that they returned from the shore yesterday. I think I'm going out there tomorrow night for dinner direct from work, or else I won't have an opportunity to see Snuff for a long time to come. June 22nd, 1944. As you may have noted, dearest, I did not find time to complete this missive. As I typed the last sentence, in walked Ethel, Al, and Ray. Ethel had shopped and bought all Diana's necessities, and they walked in with 3 large cartons that set Harry back exactly $33.49. Mickey and Ray bought Diana a lovely 100% wool pink shawl with fringe that is used as a carriage cover. Along with that was a silk pink bonnet. Ethel displayed all the things, and then they opened a long box and brought out the great big doll they bought for Adele, which Ethel told me cost $6. Adele is crazy about her new doll, which has real eyelashes, eyes that go to sleep, real teeth, and it even says mama, or cries like a baby is more the correct description. The doll is almost as large as she, has a pink hat and coat on, an organdy dress, and she, the doll, has the prettiest face I've seen on a doll. Adele is still too destructive to trust her with such an expensive item, so I let her play with it while I'm watching. We nearly died laughing from Adele this morning. A young crippled boy lives across the street and was passing by early this morning. Adele apparently saw him and immediately copied his style of walking. We didn't know what she was doing until she said boy and pointed to him. Yep, honey, that's our offspring. Page 4. I spoke to Dot this evening and she tells me that she received a 5-page letter from you and that the last page must be missing, for the letter ends in the middle of a word and there is no signature. I couldn't make it out there this evening, and I doubt if I'll be able to get out there at all to say so long to Snuff. I haven't written much about our new niece, nor of Goldie. Truth to tell, I've still to have a good look at her, and I've spoken to Goldie very little till today. Goldie had a sort of relapse after having too much company on Sunday, and I thought it better not to bother her. She walked today for the first time and said she didn't feel so good. She says she has had quite a few stitches. She's been nursing the baby, but the baby has lost weight, so the doctor advised her to nurse and get a formula for the baby. So she's going to nurse and give the baby the bottle. Today the baby weighs 6 pounds 9.5 ounces. Most everyone thinks it looks like Harry. Diana is a long, thin baby according to those who have had a good look. Goldie is coming home tomorrow afternoon, so I guess I'll be kind of busy the next few days. The job of bathing Diana will probably be my lot, and it should be interesting to bathe the newborn once again. Goldie's doctor recommended a good baby doctor in the neighborhood who has been examining the baby at the hospital. His name is Dr. Grossman, and he is charging her $10 for the hospital visits. I understand he's a sort of specialist in his field, so I think I'll have him take a look at Adele's legs and feet when he pays Goldie a visit. I'll probably have lots more to write about them this weekend. I don't want to forget to tell you that I received 2 more of yours of the 11th and 13th June today. The mail is arriving regularly once again, and I'm pleased to pieces about it. The new people sound swell, and I'll make it my business to contact their relative here in Philly this weekend. Page 5. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself so well at their home. You might congratulate the new parents for me, dear. I know I don't give you much in the way of war news, honey, though I have been watching the news more closely since the invasion. Dot tells me that she wrote you most of the latest and bestest news concerning what is thought of the war's end, and I doubt if there is much to add. Cherbourg's defenses are crumbling. The Navy is doing fine in the Pacific. That item about the 29th Infantry is food for conjecture, honey. God, I shudder when I think of it. Today was just another work day for me, and the weather was rather warm today. I'm so darn sleepy at the moment, honey, that I can't see straight, so help me God. There is one other thing I want to say. I told Harry and Goldie I would buy them the bassinet as a gift. However, Harry has already purchased it. I told Goldie I was delaying the giving of our gift only as long as it took for me to know that you know of your new status. Who knows, perhaps you have a suggestion as to a gift. I was planning on spending $10, and though it is quite a bit for me at this time, I nevertheless want to gift them generously as they have gifted me. I shall wait to hear from you, Uncle Phil. Well, honey, I'm just about writ out, and with a closing kiss and hug and all the love I can squeeze in, I am now Auntie Ev. Philip to Evelyn, 22 June 1944, p.m. Dearest darling, here I am again for the second time today. The reason? I just received your rather breathless email of 14th June advising me that I am now an uncle. But is my face red? After my smug assumptions in this morning's letter, none of which were right, I feel the phoniest of phony prophets. The next time I guess something right, it will be the first time. I here and now forswear predictions of any kind. Naturally, I'm delighted at the arrival of the newest strong-in. Watch us grow. And I'm equally delighted that it's a sweet little girl rather than a rapscallion boy. Looks like it's up to Jack all right to provide the guy who will carry on the family name. However, I warn you now, my darlingest darling, that if Jack's offspring is also a girl, I will feel myself obliged to produce that elusive male myself. So if I were you, I would either drop Gloria a hint or start painting the bassinet blue. Too bad Goldie's father doesn't approve of Diana Jean. It's such a pretty name. But perhaps he would agree to a compromise. Say Dory or Doreen. Dory would go well with Jean, but if they prefer Doreen, they can change the middle name to fit. Say June or Julia or Judith. I think Doreen June is nice and appropriate too. But whatever Harry and Goldie decide on, it, page 2, will be okay with Uncle Phil. You needn't bother to convey my congratulations. I'll attend that little matter myself. Which reminds me, dear, you forgot to congratulate me, Uncle Phil, the patriarch of our branch of the Strongman clan. Oh, how could you? And you were always so thoughtful about such things. I was always the one to forget the necessary amenities, yet here am I saying congratulations, Aunt Evelyn, while no one thinks to congratulate me. Tonight I am CQ and have the time to get off a letter to Harry and Goldie and perhaps Mom. Tomorrow morning I am accompanying Lieutenant Tom's on a 3-day trip. I'll write if I get the chance, but don't count on it. At any rate, I'll tell you all about it when I get back. But if I'm to get off those other letters, I'd better conclude this right here. But not before I say yet again, I love you, my Chippy. A kiss and hug from my littler but equally dear Chippy, your daughter and mine, Adele Barra. Yours ever lovingly, Phil. Letter from Snuff Cohen, Phil's friend, dated June 22nd, 1944. Dear Phil, every time I read one of your letters, I felt ashamed of myself for not doing any writing. But you know how it is. I very seldom do any writing, and since Dot does all the writing, and by the way, so well, I could never find anything to say. Now that I am going into the service, most of the news will be as new to you as to Dot. From now on, I expect to do a little more corresponding to those I know and care for. It may seem a little odd since I never even put in a line or two in all the letters that Dot has sent to page 2, you. As I said before, it would be simple to say what Dot has already written. I started this letter on a rough sheet and was going to have Dot type it out for me. I decided to start right now as it would as good a time as ever. Dot was saying that you should feel flattered because this is the third letter I've written in the last 3 years, and that all took place in the last 3 days. I hope my letter writing will progress as time goes by, because when I go to boot camp, I won't have any little woman doing my work for me. Consequently, my handwriting will have to become a little more legible. Until I get to camp and you receive my next letter, be well, and for God's sake, stay in England. As ever, the one and only Snuff.